I want to take a minute to talk a little bit more in depth about editing. When I say editing, what I mean is how you manipulate your project. I've already mentioned some of the tools, such as the pencil, paint, and slice tools, but we also have the slip edit function, which allows you to move around your music within the playlist to get it exactly where you want. Slip editing is a very powerful tool and gives you the precise control that you need to make changes within your playlist. So we have some patterns drawn out and separated so that each instrument has its own pattern. Then on the timeline, I've set each pattern out so that the full piece plays with everything in it. Now again, we have the slice tool, which we can use to cut our patterns apart. Keep in mind though, that when using the slice tool on a pattern clip, if you slice in the middle of a note, the notes will still be played as intended, but the slices will look different, as the second half of the note sliced will move to a different slice without the other notes. Another way to deal with this is to select the slip editing tool and then left-click the pattern you want to change. You can then hold down the left mouse button and drag back and forth to move the pattern's data. You'll see a visual change as the notes move back and forth. The amount of movement is based on your snap settings. Make sure you pay attention when using this method though, as it is quite easy to start moving data around, and before you know it, you've lost pieces and end up moving things around even more to try to fix it. However, slip editing makes for a fantastic way to move clip data around without moving the clip itself. This can be used to edit your project or as a creative tool. We can change up a pattern by moving the data around, thus multiplying the number of unique patterns. In our example, we'll draw out the patterns we have here for 4 bars. Then we'll use the slip edit tools on bars 2, 3, and 4. Now, the data on the screen is all still coming from the original patterns, and the data has not changed in the patterns themselves, but because we've moved the data around, the program will change the way it's played back. This can also be used as a way to slice up beats. In our example, we can use the slice and slip edit tools to change up the beat, move the start and end around, and virtually compose a new sound right here without having to touch anything in the channel window, or without having to insert any new plugins or samples. As you can see, this can be a very useful tool for making changes. I also want to point out that one of the keys to writing interesting pieces that keep the listener's attention is making small changes every now and then. Something as simple as offsetting a note every few bars will keep the listener engaged and anticipating what comes next. One of the downsides to using a loop-based program is just that. It uses loops. A loop is just a repetitive piece of music. So when using loops, the project can become too mechanical and become stale real quick. That's why editing your clips either with the slice tool or slip editing is crucial for maintaining a fresh sounding project. We're going to take a closer look at some more editing tools later as we examine the SliceX and Edison editor. There, we'll see how we can make changes to actual samples and reinsert them. We'll also be looking at some features of the DirectWave sampler that will allow us to edit. You can also make some minor edits with the sampler using the tools in the pre-computed effects area that allow things like fade-ins and fade-outs. But pay special attention to the editing tools in the playlist. These tools can be invaluable in making changes and saving time. As we just saw, you can take a single pattern and multiply its potential. In the next video, we'll take a look at how to insert and use effects in the mixer, as well as how the mixer will be an integral part of your projects.